This is a Waterslide decal, and in my past videos, you have seen me use these decals on many of my custom diecast cars. Since then, the people have demanded for a tutorial. Wait, I expected more people. So with this ultimate guide, you shall know everything about Waterslide decals, from choosing the right kind of paper to applying a decal, and even designing anything you want for free. So what are we waiting for? Let us get right into the basics. So this right here is a special Waterslide decal paper. You can find it online on stores like Amazon and eBay. It works when you cut out a portion of paper and dunk it in some water to release the decal layer from the transfer sheet. It is very important to know that there are two different types of paper. We have the transparent variant. This one's much more versatile and easier to use because there are no borders. But unfortunately, it isn't very visible on darker surfaces. For that reason, we have the opaque version of the paper, which comes with a white layer underneath. But keep in mind that it creates a visible white border if you don't cut it close to the decal area. Depending on your printer type, you must choose the correct decal paper. Since my printer is an inkjet, I'll be using that type of paper. Finally, I strongly recommend that you buy an A4 size sheet instead of a letter size because it's very easy to save paper. This will make much more sense later on in the video. Once you have obtained your correct decal paper, here's a quick scope of the materials you must have. With that out of the way, let's get right into it. I'm currently working on a Chevy Diecast model and I need the Chevrolet lettering right here on the tailgate. First, I measure how big I want the decal to be, making sure to write the measurements down. Then I go to my computer and look up pictures of the Chevrolet lettering. This one looks great. I will save it onto my device so I can turn it into a decal. The next step is to resize the logo so it actually fits onto the Chevy tailgate. To do this, I will open up Inkscape. For those of you not familiar with Inkscape, don't worry. Inkscape is a vector editing software that is completely free to download and super easy to use. It may seem a little daunting at first, so bear with me just for this part, okay? Good. So now, I will go ahead and create a new document. Now that we got Inkscape open, let's get our downloaded pic onto this platform. Go to File in the top left corner and click on Import. You will then select your desired image. Once the import window opens up, click OK. For the sake of this tutorial, I'll be keeping things simple by importing a logo from the internet. But of course, you can go crazy in Inkscape and create your own designs. However, I will not be going over all of that as there are plenty of other guides that can catch you up to speed. Anyway, the image has been successfully imported, but saying that it is a little too large is an understatement to say the least. To resize it, click on the image once, and while holding the Control key, drag on the black handles to shrink the image to your desired size. In my case, I only want the Chevy lettering, not the logo. So to crop the image, click on the tool right here to draw a rectangle around what you want to crop. Then, change the opacity of the shape through the Fill and Stroke menu, so we can see if the correct portion is selected. Once the rectangle is flush around the text, select both the rectangle and the logo you want to crop. Go to the top menu and then select Object, Clip, and Set Clip. Now you have cropped the image. We need to resize the image to our desired dimensions. While holding the Control key again, drag the black handles while keeping an eye on the measurements up top. There, that looks good. Before printing the design, I recommend doing two additional things. Instead of wasting an entire A4 size sheet on a tiny decal, I like to divvy the sheet up into equal quarters. Each quarter that you see here right now is an A6 size sheet. Because of that, we now need to change our page size from A4 to A6. To do that, go to File, select Document Properties to open the window. From there, go through the drop-down menu and select the A6 size paper. Even though I only need one decal, I recommend printing extras in case things go wrong. So I will go ahead and duplicate these. After some off-camera mining, here is my final design ready to be exported and printed. But first of all, don't forget to save your project. Then to export this, go to File and Export to open this window. After saving your file location by clicking this icon, I highly recommend saving this in PDF for the best print quality. Guys, we are finally done with Inkscape, so if you're feeling confused, please don't hesitate to hit up the comment section. When loading the decal paper in the printer, it is very important to make sure that the glossy side is facing down. If you don't do this, the decal won't actually release from the transfer paper and you're gonna be super disappointed. After loading your paper, go ahead and select the correct paper size. I also highly recommend setting the paper type to glossy as opposed to regular printer paper, only if your printer has this setting of course. Back to the computer, open up the saved PDF file and go ahead and open the print dialog. In it, make sure that you're printing in color and go ahead and change the paper size from letter to A6 if you're printing small decals, and change the paper size like I did. These next parts are very important. You want to change this option from the default fit printable area to the actual size. If you don't do this, the decal will be printed slightly larger and the Chevy decal won't actually fit. Because this option is selected by default, you're gonna have to change it every single time. Lastly, choose the highest quality because you want the print to look crisp. Now go ahead and click print. Now I can carefully pick this up from the printer, making sure to not touch the ink. After printing, I would wait at least 2 hours for the ink to dry before the next step. So you thought you could use the decals now, right?
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Because this is what happens if you don't seal the ink first. This step is pretty self-explanatory. First, make sure that there's nothing on the surface and then go and tape it down to something. Also, if you're like me and don't want lung cancer at the age of 50, please wear a mask. For the clear coat, any type is fine. As long as it says clear coat on the can, you're good to go. Now, you'll be applying 2 to 3 layers of clear coat as needed until the ink is protected from the water. Make sure that the first coat is light and then you can go ahead and build up with thicker and thicker coats. Once it is done, I recommend letting it dry overnight.
2,000 years later.
Guys, this is it. After all this prep, we are ready for the best part. To do this, have your decal sheet, a bowl of water, some scissors or X-Acto knife, paper towels, a brush, and tweezers all ready to go. First, carefully cut around the decal. When dealing with the small ones, I find a sharp X-Acto knife to be much more useful. Then grab the decal using your tweezers and soak it in the water, making sure that every bit of it is wet. Lay it on a paper towel for around 15 to 30 seconds for it to activate. For larger decals, I would wait around a minute just to be safe. While waiting, go ahead and brush some water onto the surface that you're applying. This will allow the decal to be aligned easily and move around smoothly. Once the decal is ready to be released, the goal of this is to be able to easily slide off the decal from the backing paper. If there's any resistance, stop immediately. Gently dunk the decal back into the water and wait longer for it to activate. The problem is that these decals are super thin and may break easily if too much force is applied. Once you slide it halfway, you can then position the decal and slide the backing paper the rest of the way. You can then add a little bit more water to the area and nudge it until it's properly aligned. Once it is spot on, gently dab the paper towel while being careful not to move it around. This removes the excess water and allows it to bond quicker. After a little bit, you will notice that the decal has successfully bonded to the surface. But what if you want to remove it? To do that, soak the decal again with water and then wait for it to loosen from the surface. Once you're happy with the decal, I highly recommend that you add a layer of clear coat to permanently seal it. So now, you probably get the gist. Dip it in water and slide it onto a flat surface. But Aaron, what if I want to apply it onto a curved, uneven surface? Well, my friend, this is where the greatest dynamic duo comes into play. Microsole comes first. Apply a generous layer on the decal area, then position the decal where it's supposed to go, and also dab it down onto the surface. Microset allows the decal to adhere to the surface properly. Now comes Microsole. You don't really have to wait for the microset to dry. Just rinse your brush and apply a layer of this stuff onto the surface. This solution softens the decal and allows it to confirm into the little panel gaps and crevices of the car. Then, using a brush or toothpick, gently pat it onto the irregular gaps. In some cases, it might even be necessary to cut up the decal and wrap it around the edges. However, be wary of overworking the decal as it will be super fragile. As you can see, I kind of messed up this area. After you're done, you can set it to dry for a few hours and then add some clear coat to seal it in for good. And that's all I have for today. If you stayed to the end, thank you, because you are one of the real ones. This is my first server tutorial, so if you really think I deserve it, please consider dropping a sub and liking this video. If you do, I promise to upload more often. Anyway, thanks again for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.